That's what y'all call a pack out. 12 niggas on me. All you do is bust my shit. This is marks, blood, barlums. Watch this though. My body's so sore, blood. I swear to God. Oh my God. So much pain.
We on Slauson.
Gangland. We outside with this. Where we at? On Fig and what? What is this? Fig and what? Vernon? Fig and Vernon out here live and direct, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Wanna join the gang, gotta slide first. Slide. Which one is the gang? He gotta die first. Which one? Hit him in his brain, make his eyes hurt. Hit him. Put him in a grave on a t-shirt. Niggas say my name, I'ma squeeze first. Palomar's Park, put the P first.
Ain't giving no passes over here, 100 killer boys on the set. What the f, nigga? Give me this rag on Pyro.
Rap News Street Politics, the best hood channel on YouTube, and we back in the streets with some dangerous implications between the neighborhood Crips and the Pirus. So we know recently we seen King Pill and Guno pull up to the Westside 40s, flamed all the way up. We know it's a lot of back and forth going on with King Pill trying to catch this fade with 4 Extra. But the key thing that y'all gotta realize that it's not really about this fade now that he's linked up with Guno, who's from Westside Treetop Piru. Now we know King Pill is repping 456 Island Piru in Pomona. Pomona's still LA County. I'm very familiar with the island as well, but they not gonna be in the mix of LA politics. But like I said, when he's rolling with dudes like Guno from Treetop, the implications really get blown up in this situation. And this really stems from 2 high-profile situations that transpired between the Treetop Pirus and the neighborhood Crips. The first one, which is the most recent, being the death of Slim 400 from Treetop, who was killed by Tiny Doughboy from Westside neighborhood Menlo Crip. The second situation was the murder of Draco. Now, you know, we all heard the allegations of everything that happened that night when Draco was killed, where allegedly somebody in YG's entourage had got up on Draco. And we know Draco was cool with the neighborhood Crips from the 30s to the 100s, and primarily the 30s, the 40s, the Coast, and the Rolling Hundreds. And we know YG is also from Treetop, a very close affiliate of Guno. And the situation that happened with Slim 400, you know, I heard many different stories of exactly why it happened. I can't necessarily say that it was straight gangbanging shit, but of course, when you got somebody from Treetop and somebody from Menlo, and you see the results, the gangbanging shit is gonna be the foundation of the situation. Now, Slim 400 got killed in Inglewood, but again, Tiny Doughboy also used to stay on 118th and Raymond, not too far from Inglewood. But overall, that situation was somewhat personal. The neighborhood Crips are still responsible for killing Slim 400, who we know was a top affiliate of YG and a respected member from Treetop. So those 2 situations alone pulled the Pirus into the spotlight even further, with the Stink Team, neighborhood Crip, and Inglewood beef, and Treetop being in the middle of it. Now we know YG be around a lot of blood or Piru members. We know for sure he be with Act Right from neighborhood Piru in Inglewood, and he be with Baby Dot from Inglewood family. And we seen how the 40s reacted when Indian Red Boy was killed in Hawthorne. They was doing a lot of dissing against the Inglewood Bloods. And the Inglewood Pirus and Bloods, and especially Avenue Piru, are still locked in a deadly war with the neighborhood Rolling 100 Crips, all of them. Hard Time, UG, 111, Block is going up in this section, and we know Draco had close ties to this section as well, as we see Ralphie be with these dudes in this section. And we also see YG with dudes not only from Bounty Hunters, but also people from BPS, who are top enemies to the 40s. And we know Draco was rolling with dudes from 40s and 30s. But we also see them be tight-knit with the Coast, just like Ralphie is now with these young Stink Team members. And the Coast is another set that directly beef with other Pirus. Predominantly 11A East Coast and 190 East Coast Block Crip are going to be the closest hoods from neighborhood beefing with these Compton and Carson Pirus. The 11A's for sure beefing with NWA, Nella West Athens in Athens Park, Miller, Westside Piru, and Campanella Park. And we know the 190 is not only beefing with the Carson Pirus, but also all the Compton Pirus as well. And we know when you beef with one East Coast set, you beefing with all of them. So that also travels all the way up to the 6-pack. And some things did transpire with Chef Boy from Westside Piru and some of these Westside rolling Crips. Now, there was that situation where he got on camera and he had some tears out his eyes when he said the 30s had jumped on him. And we know the 30s and 40s share a really tight-knit bond over here in this section. Now, Westside Piru and Harlem are not close to each other, but we see how that situation played out when they bumped into Chef Boy. Now, Chef Boy, I have been hearing some bad things about Chef Boy. I can't say, I don't know if those is true, but I do know Chef Boy got one of the hottest records out in the city right now. And this situation with King Pill and Guno is shining a light on what's going on with Pirus and Westside Rollins. So this is why this situation with King Pill and Guno specifically pulling up with they homies to the 40s is bigger than just a fade with 4 Extra. We seen King Pill pulling out Blick and talking about head taps, putting it on Island. These are some serious games being played.
We on Slauson, nigga. Yeah, nigga, whenever y'all niggas hit Cali, nigga, tap in with the King Pill, nigga. Yeah, I'ma get you what you need, nigga.
Gangland. We outside with this shit, nigga. Where we at? On Fig and what? What is this? Fig and what? Vernon? Fig and Vernon out here live and direct, my nigga. I'm talking about.
And we also know there are some Eastside rules that are just down king from the 40s in the 30 rules and the 40 rules, but they really more focused on the 4-pack, the Avalons, and the Broadways. We don't see a lot of situations that transpire between them and the Westside 40s. But we did see the Eastside 30 rules dealing with BPS, where we seen one of their members do a record with E-Killer from the Baby Stones, and we know where that situation lies between the Baby Stones, BPS, 4 Extra, and the 40s. So this Piru shit is not far from the Westside 40s. But nonetheless, I would say this situation is for sure completely connected to neighborhood Crip and Piru beef.
These niggas know it's bragging. I put a 50 and a 40 just to see what happened. They on some Call of Duty shit cause these niggas camping. I'm outside every day, I'm trying to see what's happening. You in the house with a blower, I don't need practice. If them niggas put up on me, why they didn't pack me? And if them niggas put up on me, why they didn't clap me? Is it cause I banged the rules and I'm real active?
Now we know King Pill has kind of came out of left field with his whole persona that he's put out there, and a lot of people really take him to be a crash out and a joke. And that's kind of how his character has played out in a few different situations. But we've seen him watch how 4 Extra blew up with the extra out gang banging in the phase. And he's kind of turned into the Blood Piru version of that, but putting a little bit more on it. But I paid attention to a situation when Munchie B sat down with Dulo from Athens Park. And y'all make sure y'all go check out our Athens Park and 11A video. Dulo was in that video, and shout out to him and Munchie B. But when Munchie B sat down with Dulo, we seen Dulo vouching for King Pill's gang banging behind the walls.
I don't think that man be lying. And you could tell what's trolling, and you could tell what's, you know what I'm saying, because his stories be checking out.
I be reading some of the comments. They be like, man, this dude gotta be lying. He ain't lying. We was up in that thing tripping. He was tripping.
And I think, honestly, that's the most important thing when I think about this whole situation in its entirety, because Dulo is somebody who has a strong reputation. Like I said, go check that APB video out. But I would trust in Dulo's word when he vouched for King Pill when he didn't have to. Like I said, 456 has nothing to do with these politics out here, and APB isn't a Piru set. He said King Pill was like that behind the walls. And I know that's contrary to what a lot of people believe, but this also goes into what I'm saying in regards to this not being a game, especially when these dudes is in the 40s, regardless of where they at in the 40s. They pulling sticks out. We seen them riding down Slauson. Like I said, the fact that G Uno is involved turns this shit into a whole different situation. And I think some real dangerous games being played when you pulling up to people's hoods like this, especially from the proximity of where your hood is. Pomona and Compton, nowhere near the 40s. And I'm sure they had some of their members with them in this situation. When you in territories like this, things can honestly, truly go left and get cracking.
Wanna join the gang, gotta slide first. Slide. Which one is the gang? He gotta die first. Which one? Hit him in his brain, make his eyes hurt. Hit him. Put him in a grave on a t-shirt. Niggas say my name, I'ma squeeze first. Palomar's Park, put the P first. Patrolling through the set till my feet hurt. Patrolling. Go get the Corvette, nigga, reverse. Them traps ain't a threat, nigga, we worse.
And another situation that we can't look past is how YG was cool with Nipsey when he was alive. Treetop and 6-0 being on good terms around the time the 6-0s had some serious issues with the 40s. But fast forward into recent times, there was also that awkward bump in YG had with C-Mac. Now the thing with G Uno, we watched what Hoodie Hood said about this, who's also from 40s and Dago. Shout out to his channel for showing he questioned why G Uno would attach himself to a situation like this. Why would he put his gangster on the line? Why would he put his hood on the line? I think there's two reasons that go along with that. Number one, it's already up with the neighborhoods and the Pirus. That's for sure. Regardless of proximity, and we're going to talk about where it's really cracking at between the Hundreds and the Avenue Pirus. So that's the main factor that's really incentivizing G Uno being with pulling up to the 40s. And again, his homies allegedly being involved with knocking down Draco, along with Slim 400 being killed by a member from Neighborhood Menlos. Number two, we know G Uno is a well-respected member of his set. It's been said that he's reputable in his set. He's put it down behind the walls. But I still can't get past the fact that he jumped out with that snitch G-face to start his internet career. And I think that's bad discernment that he shows when dealing with people. So I think it's a little bit of that. Some beef going on and not really being able to read situations. My thing is G-face is a federal snitch and he was attached to that dude from the hip. So, you know, I still can't put that past him when getting himself in situations. You know what I'm saying? So this is another reason why things could truly go left with these dudes pulling up to these West Side or East Side neighborhood crib sets as Pirus and banging the way they are. But this also may be a twist given the fact that since King Pill is not involved in LA and Compton politics, especially between the Piru and the neighborhood Crips out here, it could be G Uno has the ulterior motive and is the one trying to press play on pulling up to the West Side 40s or any neighborhood Crip set. Again, his situation is directly correlated to what's going on in a real way in the streets. King Pill, not so much. And we just seen him recently go on that press run in New York with the New York Blood. So it looked like they went out there, had a good time, and came back home looking to stomp on shit. And I believe G Uno will have a little bit more influence behind that situation. And then some people may ask about the Dodie 6 situation, being on Kendrick album. Kendrick, of course, having affiliations with the West Side Pirus. Now we see Hitter J3 kind of make a statement about that shit when Dodie from 40s was crashing out and he said whatever he said about Kendrick. Hitter said he tried to reach out, but he eventually just said, fuck Dodie. He ain't got nothing for him because of what he said about his homie. So like I said, more tension with the neighborhoods and the Pirus, and that's the situation directly correlating with the 40s and the West Side Pirus. Now, for sure, that's some music shit, you know what I'm saying? I highly doubt it's on any gangbanging shit, but as we know, dealing with gang members, things can really turn into some gangbanging shit real quick. But aside from that 11-8 NWA beef, we touched on that when we covered that video. Some more Pirus and neighborhood Crips that have really got cracking is right here in the Hundreds, on the borderline of Inglewood and this Rolling 100 Crip territory between the Avenue Pirus and all of these Rolling 100 sets. Now, there was an account where somebody from Avenue Piru tried to take somebody out from the Hundreds with the throw-off at Eddie's Liquor. Now, this was some years back in about 2011, but this just shows the beef between neighborhood Crips and Pirus, where a female was pulling up on 108th and Western, right in the middle where all these 100 sets meet. Hard Time, UG, Block, 111, Bud Long's not far from here. This is the middle of the Rolling Hundreds at that Eddie's Liquor. The female was pulling up with her sister-in-law and her sister-in-law baby in the car, and she called her son out to help her with some stuff that she had in the car. Now, her son Cameron was blued up. Again, it's the middle of the Hundreds. I can't say he was gangbanging, but when he pop out, somebody named Aaron Mitchell pop out and bang on him and ask him where he from on 90 Crip. Now, this is what I mean by the cold throw-off. The 9-0s is not far from here. 108th and Western, a 9-0 Crip isn't finna be aggressively banging on somebody on 108th and Western. It said that Cameron froze up, looked at his mom, and his mom said nobody banged. Aaron Mitchell said, fuck that, whipped out, and ends up shooting Cameron twice in the mouth, twice in the chest, 2 times in his ass, once in his left leg and once in his right leg. Again, somebody from 9-0 is not finna be doing that on 108th and Western unless somebody is really out of bounds at this liquor store, which is extremely unlikely. The crazy part is Cameron ended up surviving this situation. Of course, him and his mom point out Aaron Mitchell out of multiple lineups, and they did a physical lineup at MCJ. After that, they kicked Mitchell door in, found the hoodie that he was wearing that night, matched it up to the description, and he went down. Now this dude had A and the P tatted on him for Avenue Piru, and he testified that he was actually on 104th and Crenshaw at the time of this murder. That's right on the borderline of Crenshaw Mafia and Avenue Piru. But like I said, he tried to hit somebody from the Hunnids with the throw-off, being from Piru, and try to take some shit out. And this is the scope of what's going on between the Pirus and the neighborhood Crips. So this is why the situation between King Pill and Guno could really turn up. The real street implications behind this shit. And we also seen dudes from 40s hitting up in Mob Piru. The city's not that big, that's what y'all gotta know. And we seen some members from Mob Piru kicking it with the 5-1 Troubles. Now we know the 5-1s are direct main enemies of the West Side 40s, so it's a lot of underlying shit that's going on. Now, do I see a bunch of people sliding down the 110 to the 105 looking for dudes from Compton Piru or vice versa, other than King Pill and Guno? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt 4 Extra is finna be doing any sliding. You know, I think he's just trying to stay out at this point and not get himself involved in this shit. And honestly, I think this is really why he's not interested in catching the fade. We see Adam say if it was somebody from Inglewood, he wouldn't want to line this fade up. But again, we just laid out the Piru still beef with the 40s. It's still real gang implications behind this shit. And some dudes from 40s or 30s that's still affiliated with the Stink Team will probably be at that boxing match. It's a no-go. It's not going to happen. And it smelled like a setup on King Pill part. He already know. I'm sure niggas be talking. But nonetheless, we got to let this situation develop a little more, see what's going on. Like I said, I doubt it's going to be a fade from these dudes, but the streets is watching for sure, man. Y'all stay tapped in, stay rocking with the channel. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. It's the best hood channel on YouTube. Rap News Street Politics, we out.